What's up, guys? My name is Noah. This is the Gun Row Garage. Today we're going to start working on the back of the Jeep, getting a lot of the metal work done, a lot of the rust patching done and all that. And we're going to start building a drop-down tailgate, like a truck bed, and getting some miscellaneous stuff done here and there. Should be interesting. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm starting to mess around with doing a drop-down tailgate here, and just because these hinges are pretty shot anyways, I had to drill these bolts out, and I just don't really like the look of them. So, and I think drop-down tailgates are pretty cool on these. So, I'm kind of messing with this a little bit. I'm thinking about doing something like this, kind of like the way that hinge fits, just going down to there and up to there. The whole bottom of this, I got to, I obviously got to cut it out, just it's all rusty right there, but I'll reinforce all that with probably some 1/8 inch steel and just go all the way across. And then down here I got to create some sort of reinforcement just to strengthen this bottom panel, so you know, if it's down and you sit on it, you're not gonna like bend all this up. So I'm kind of looking at this, just giving you guys a little update on what I'm thinking. But yep, that's where we are. Alright, so I'm thinking about doing something like this to fix the bottom of this. So this is some 1/8 inch, and you can see it's just all rotted out under there. So I think I'm just gonna cut along the top there and then just weld this whole piece in. I gotta kind of mess with the back of it too. There's some rust back there, but I think that'll give it a pretty solid mounting surface for those hinges, and just beef this whole back end up anyways. All the holes and everything all throughout I'm gonna try to plug and everything just so it looks really clean, because I have this. So I got this new swing out bumper. It's pretty generic, but looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna have to assemble that so we could still have the spare tire, which is kind of what I wanted. But before I put that on, I have to kind of fix all the rust right there and really do everything, just because I don't really want to trash that thing before it's even put on. Alright, so I'm looking at this thing and I could definitely fix it, but you know, it's pretty rusty. I have some angle steel that I was going to run back here. Sorry, I only got one hand here. So I was going to run some angle steel, cut all this out, angle steel there, and then that 1/8 inch up top. And I think it would work fine. You know, it's just, I'm looking at the actual amount of body work it'd take to straighten this out, because it's kinked in here and everything, and I was looking online and I can get a new one for like 130 bucks. So I think I'm just gonna go that route and order a new one. It'll just be a lot easier. It'll save me a lot of the kind of the BS part of it, so I'm just gonna order that instead. Alright, so I kept looking at this tailgate and I just didn't really like the way the hinges looked and it didn't feel sturdy. So I started looking at these the factory ones that were on there, and I kind of tried to figure out a way to make those work. And so what I did was I just chopped off part of the factory one to fit on this section right there, and it actually fits really well. And I kind of like the look of them, because if this is like a matte army green and this is bedline like the black, I think it'd be a nice offset. And I'm gonna have the rear bumper on there with the swing out, so it'll kind of break it up with the tire. But I feel like it just kind of works, and it makes this tailgate a lot more stable. So you can see when it comes down, it's not really rattling around, and when you close it, it's very solid. And I don't have any of the weather stripping in there, and it still sits really nice. So I think I'm gonna do that. Like I said, I'm getting a new tailgate, so when I go to do it on that one, I'll actually kind of do these proper. Right now I just kind of got some bolts in there just to hold it, but yeah. And then I'm gonna make some I'll put some little stoppers in it so that it'll actually sit 90 and should be strong enough to sit on and everything. And yeah, so I think it should come out pretty good, but I'm definitely liking that. So I gotta get back to actually finishing this part. I just capped in this body mount right here, just to add some strength back into that and to give us something to plug weld over. But now we're gonna get a piece that's gonna go from here and all the way over to there and just fill that all in, make it all one piece. And then I'm gonna come back over here and clean all that up. And I think I'm just gonna weld this completely solid too, so it'll just be all flush along the back. I think it'll look a little cleaner. Yep, so I'm gonna get back to work on that. Alright, so a little update on where we're at. So I made this piece to fit in right here. So we got the curve in there. I kind of I don't really like that. I tried to do just relief cuts on the bottom when I was bending this, and they're just way too wide. But I don't know, I'll fix it in post. Just add some weld in there, make it look nice. But yeah, the curb lines up really well. I got these plug welds in there. I ended up adding just some of this, it's a little thicker steel in there, just to space this out a little bit, because this was going back in a little too far, just to get those plug welds lined up. And it definitely stiffened this up even more, so that's just an added benefit. But yeah, it's got the bend on the bottom, so it should kind of match how the factory had it done. And then right here, I'm just slowly kind of filling the weld in on there. You can only do so much so you don't warp it, so it's a little bit, let it sit, cool, and then do that. But basically I'm just trying to make that flush so that we can just put a thin coat of filler on there, and it should look pretty clean. But yeah, other than that, slowly getting this stuff done. Alright, so a little update on where we're at. So I got the new tailgate in, and I started working on these mounts for the tailgate. So the factory hinge mounts, you can see they kind of have the, that shim in there that basically moves around. So when you're setting this door, you have the movement to be able to get the body lines right. So I kind of wanted to replicate that. So out of the old door, I pulled those shims out on this one, and built this box. So you can see it has that same motion, and that essentially is going to go, right here and there on the inside of the skin. This is very much overkill. It's made out of like 1/8 inch steel, but I kind of have the steel, and I really want this thing to be pretty strong. So, but the concept of it is, so I got this door all cut up. So when I go to do this on the new door, I'm gonna do it a lot cleaner, so it's not, all hulked up. But so this will go essentially face down and drop in right there, and that'll basically allow the hinge to be bolted from the front of it, but this will be welded from the back. We'll do some plug welds in the sheet metal closing this back off. So when we go to close this all off, weld it shut, we'll clean up the welds so it'll look, flush like it never happened. But all of this will be completely tied together and basically be one structural piece provided, with everything else in here. So I think this should not have any problem, bending with any amount of weight. This is kind of what I'm doing for it. So I just got some 1/8 inch, got this shim pulled out, and then just some holes drilled there. And essentially that's getting dropped in there like that. And then I just get a thin little piece there just to tack it in so this stays tight against the other side. And then it's just capped off. And yeah, pretty simple, and it should work pretty good. And then coming over to this gas tank. So the old straps right here were pretty rusted out, not really in good shape. So I just got some, I believe this is 1/8 inch too, so it's thinner stuff. But I welded basically a little rod there at the bottom, and then just bent it to fit, and that allows us to go through and hook it. See if I can get this with one hand. So it hooks in like that, and then this will come around and bolt right down where it's supposed to go. So just the retaining straps to hold it. Pretty easy to make. Figured just make them instead of buying them. So these I just got to paint, but that should be it officially for the gas tank. It should be good to go back up. Alright, so a little update. So I got these all welded in. So you can see when we put the bolt in there, moves around. What I ended up doing was I just drilled a hole on the front just to basically plug weld the block to the front skin of this, just to hold it in place. It'll give it a little extra strength, but it was more so just for mocking it up. And then when we flip this around, alright, and then so flipping this around, see we got the blocks in there and there. So we're getting pretty close to getting this done. What I still got to do is, where are these pieces at? So these essentially are going to be drilled and then plug welded to the block, and then weld that in solid for both of these. Alright, so I got this backing plate in right there, and then one right here too. You can see the block right there. So it's kind of lapping in there. Made a cutout for that screw. And then I just plug welded that in there. And then that'll go on top. This is the original cap that we cut out. And so that'll get plug welded in. And then because we put that backing plate in there, we'll have a good seam to actually weld on, and we can get a really nice, strong, tight weld on that. That'll look pretty good. And once we grind all this down, you won't even see any of it. So I'm going to get that welded up, and then we can actually start fitting this thing up and getting the hinges kind of where they need to be on the Jeep. Alright, so an update on these hinge mounts. So we got this one all mounted in there. You can see I cut a little slot on the top there and put some steel in there. Super solid. Definitely happy with that. Especially I think once this is capped off too, this thing should just be, not going anywhere. So what I did for that was I had some 3/16 steel and welded some nuts in the back of that. And we're basically just slipping that in there and just doing two little, you can see right there, just did two plug welds there and there just to hold it in place, and should be good. So I'm going to get that one done, and we'll throw the tailgate on and see how it all looks and how sturdy it is. Alright, so we got this tailgate on, got everything finished up on it, all the mounts done. If you bring it down here, you can see I capped off the top of these with some 1/8" steel, and then cleaned it all up for both of those. Added a lot of strength. Got these welded in right there and there. They're gonna get a thin coat of just a fiberglass filler before we bedded line the back of this, just to clean it up a little bit. And then right here, I started building the actual hook for the cable straps. It's going to go up to here. This is the other little mount I'm making right there. So that'll be, basically that'll bolt right in there, and then the strap will build a bolt to there and right to there. Same thing for over here, except it'll mount right on the side of the tailgate. So I think with those, it should make this really sturdy. I was originally just going to put bushings in there to make it kind of mount 90. But I feel like it'll just be a lot more solid with that. But yeah, other than that, that works really nice. I really like where it fits up and everything, and we got the adjustability in there, and definitely happy with the way these hinges look. I think it kind of looks different, and I think it'll look really cool when everything's finished up and the swing out bumper's on. Other than that, we got all that done. Same thing for there. All that's welded up. Trying to think of what else I did. Started getting this cut out, so we just got to patch that in. I ran a new evap line, or not a evap, a vapor line for the gas tank that connects up to this vapor box right here. So you can see it running right there, and that runs all the way down to the gas tank right here. So that'll be nice. Hopefully that'll help fix my check engine light. And then I ran a new brake line up front here, the one that goes to the passenger side brake caliper. You can see it runs all the way along there. I had it running along the firewall, and it just looked awful, and was kind of rubbing on some stuff, so I was a little worried it was going to break. And then as far as the gas tank goes, got these straps painted and bolted on, and they came out really nice. Pretty easy to make too, so I can't really complain about that. And then I got, for the vapor line, that goes right in there, so I got that T fixed, and got a new fuel sender unit in here. So the second we finish everything up over on the tailgate, this can go back in, which will be really nice. And then the skid plate is good to go back in now too. So we just about got everything ready to go for body work. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode. A lot of kind of tedious stuff that had to get done, but really glad it's done. Now we can move forward, and in the next episode we're going to start on doing all the body work and getting all that done so that we can start doing the wrap. So pretty excited for it. Should definitely be interesting. But if you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one.